Selena Treep was my my first person who I just adored her. Then so whenever I would come up and do things, I was always waving to her, and she'd always wave. We'd throw kisses at each other and that kind of. Because she was always playful and fun, and I just liked being around her. So I didn't really know Bob as well as I knew Selena at the time. And then, of course, Selena's work was so powerful that I would follow it into Berta Walker Gallery, and that would be another reason why I wanted to be at Berta Walker. And then I got to meet Bob, and then then when Selena passed, I get to spend a lot of quality time with Bob, and so yeah, the powerhouse. But how I really got to Provincetown was when uh, I got a job with the U.S. Airways. I was a flight attendant for 15 years, which I quit in 2000. But in between then, while I was working, when I was flying, I filled out an application. It was like the Budweiser Kings and Queens. It was an opportunity for African Americans to apply, have one application, and it would go to like the five top graduate art schools. So it was RISD, MICA, Cal Arts, Cranbrook, and Yale. Um, which I did really well with all of them. I got like to a certain part. I got like really far with Yale. I get to the second interview with RISD. And I got accepted with Cal Arts. So I went out there, because I was really great because I was flying, so I could fly out there on U.S. Air's tip. So I flew out there and I had an interview, and I was with Mark Bradford. I went out there. Mark Bradford was just graduating, and so I went out and hung out with him for a day, and we were just talking about Cal Arts, and that's when he had his hoop dress and the whole deal going, and he shows me this video, and we were laughing and carrying on, and I was like, "Yeah, this is really cool." I went, I'm not coming here. I'm from the East Coast. I was like, from the East Coast, we actually put paint on a canvas. I'm not, I'm not into this, postmodern stuff. You probably guys are going to drive me away from painting. I want to go toward painting. I want to learn more about it. And he was like, yeah, but you should come here because they'd love you. And I'm like, yeah, I don't think so. So I ended up not going there. And then I sat on my hands for a few years trying to figure out what I wanted to do. And I found out that they had a program with the Fine Art Work Center in Provincetown, right? And it was through Mass Art, which I didn't really care what the school was. I just wanted to be at the Fine Art Work Center. When I got there, I was like, this place is incredible. So I was just really, really excited about being around that atmosphere and knowing that, Provincetown was the first, really art community of the United States and blah, blah, blah. I was like, great, I can load myself into this situation if I get to this school and it's all familiar with me. And I'm not going to be like in some weird place talking about something I really didn't want to. I could actually apply paint and be like home, and actually nurse this stuff. And so that's what got me. I got accepted to the low residency program through Mass Art at the Fine Art Work Center, and that really tied me into the community. I got a chance to meet everybody and hang out with Sal Daldeo, and it just goes on and on. All the different artists, Bugsy, Varajan Bogazar. I just love Bugsy. He was an incredible person. Got a chance to meet Grace Hopkins, and she, of course, we had conversations about different people who we liked. Got a chance to went to the Rose Museum up in Brandeis and ran in because I wanted to meet Mark Bradford again to say, hey, do you remember the time when we hung out? And him and Jack Whitten were talking at the time. Mark wasn't able to be there because he had someone who passed away in his family. So Jack Whitten took over the whole talk. And I was familiar with Jack's work from the ICA. Excuse me, ICA, the Contemporary Museum in Boston, but I had wasn't super familiar with him. I a little background information, but that was about it. Well, when I met him, I was like, holy crap, this guy could be one of my family members. I mean, he looked just like my father. He looked like somebody else. So we had a break, and I walk over to him. I'm like, wow, we could be family. You look like if my father had a brother, you'd be his brother. I mean, it's just, you look just like my people. And then we started going back and forth, and he's like, So you were at Tuskegee. I had an uncle who was Tuskegee Airman. I had two uncles who were Tuskegee Airmen. And so he's like, I got your uncle's airplane in my studio, and we had this camaraderie that was just incredible. And so I called up Grace afterwards, and I was like, "Yeah, I just met this guy, Jack Whitten. What an incredible artist! What a wonderful human being." She says, "Oh, I know Jack, and I know, I know the family." And I'm like, "Yeah, okay, sure. You're way too young." I mean, I just kind of blew her off and didn't say very much about it. I was like, "Yeah, she's way too young. She doesn't know Jack, and blah blah blah, whatever." And then he talked again at BU, and I went up to BU and to hang out with him again, and met his wife and his daughter. And I said, my friend Grace Hopkins said that she said hello, and they said, "Oh, Gracie, we love Grace," and I still have her Campbell's soup because she never wanted to eat the food that we had at the house, and I was like totally blown away that that they knew each other. And so I called her up and I apologized for kind of throwing her under the bus. And she said, "You should," yeah. She goes, "I know a lot of people. You should never do that." And I'm like, "You're absolutely right. I'll never will again." So that was my story on Grace. But that's how I kind of got connected with in the inner loop of everything that I've been involved with lately because of just going to school at the Fine Art Work Center.